Good afternoon and welcome to the Sage ERP Global Press and Analyst Conference. My name is Ash and I'm delighted to be here with Guy Berrier, Chief Executive of the Sage Group, who will talk a bit about the group's strategies and priorities, but that will be just in a minute. Well, as you all know, today we will be essentially focusing on the Sage ERP X3 solution. So what has happened since the global launch last year, what has been done and what is coming up? These are a few questions that we will deal with today. But before that, let me give you some practical information about our live program. So there are two sessions. Yes, two sessions. The first one is addressed to everyone, and the second one is the Q&A session, which will be moderated by Rafe Charlton, and it will be exclusively addressed to journalists and analysts. For all those who don't have any internet access, you can follow this conference on this number. You need to dial +331 7077 0943. Well, it's time now to begin our program, and I have the pleasure to welcome Guy Berrier, CEO of Sage. Hello, Guy, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Well, Guy, it's been quite a year for Sage, so can you give us a flavor what has happened in the business?
Yes, Aisha, but before that, I would like to welcome all our visitors today. Warm welcome. It's been, I'm delighted to be here in Paris, 15 months after the launch, the global launch of Sage ERP X3. As to the past year, it's been momentous. We have a new CEO. I became CEO in October. We've made some changes to our executive team, and we've announced our 4 business priorities.
So lots of things happened since 15 months.
So earlier this month, we at our interim results, we also announced that all our regions had come back to organic growth. So lots of changes.
Very good news.
But there is one thing that has not changed. It is our commitment to developing globally Sage ERP X3. We've had, good success. We're pleased with our strategy. We've had new customers, new partners. We have a new version coming today. And last but not least, double-digit growth for this business.
Brilliant. So you mentioned Sage business priorities. Can you expand on these and Sage ERP X3's position within these?
So in December, we've announced to the market 4 business priorities. The first one was to accelerate our organic growth. The second one was to improve our margins, but we said over time because we wanted to allow some investments, in particular during this fiscal year. And that's where Sage ERP X3 plays in, because we are investing on it. The third thing was focus on the web and leveraging the web for customer benefit. And the fourth was a return to acquisition. So Sage ERP X3 fits in with accelerated organic growth. I said double digit there.
Of course.
Plays with the margin effort we're making. We're keeping our margin flat this year, and plays in with the web, as we'll discuss a bit later.
And coupled to this, you have also talked about where you're investing in the business. So what type of investment are we talking about here?
Well, the first one we've just mentioned, Sage ERP X3, so we'll discuss a bit later. We're investing in our payments business, lots of development there. We're investing in our North American healthcare business. There's a big change in healthcare in North America, lots of investment there. And finally, we're investing to leverage the web more for the benefit of our customers.
What I understand is that the priority today is growth. So where do you see growth coming from for Sage?
Well, growth will come and can come from multiple sources. Let's talk about new customers. We have some new offerings such as payments, which allow us to capture customers much earlier in the life cycle when they start to trade on the internet in particular. And at a later point, that will give us the opportunity to sell accounting solutions, and when they grow, ERP solutions. So the notion of migrating customers up the ladder of our solution is a very important one, Asha.
So you're talking about customers. So you mean upgrading existing customers to Sage ERP X3 solution? And speaking about attracting new customers, what type of customers do you have in mind here?
Well, on the new customers, we are talking about mid-sized companies which have more of global needs, which deal and operate under several countries, have a multi-global needs. We also bring, these evolutions of customers from our install base. That's very important, Asha. For instance, in the UK, we have our Sage 50 customer base, which is very, very large, and a lot of our Sage ERP X3 prospects come from our Sage 50 customer base. So that's a very significant advantage we have.
Right. Okay. You talked about it a little, but why is the mid and upper mid market right for Sage?
Well, Asha, we are well known for small business customers. We have over 6 million customers.
So today it's totally a global approach.
Well, but 6 million customers.
It's huge, though.
But we have hundreds of thousands of mid-market customers, and when every one of these customers will want to grow, Sage ERP X3 will be an opportunity. So we have strong customer presence, a strong brand in many, many countries in the world. We are very experienced in developing a channel, and that's very relevant to Sage ERP X3. And finally, it is the upper mid-market, a very fragmented market. In our industry, the top of the market and the bottom of the market are quite concentrated. A few players have big shares, which is our case in the entry level. The mid-market, upper mid-market, is very fragmented. So a challenger like us has strong potential.
Right. So those markets are totally relevant for this solution.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about the web? Now, you have recently announced more details about your online business solutions and connected services strategy. Can you elaborate on that? And of course, how it applies to the mid-market?
Well, it's part of the growth question, and we will grow with connected services. We'll grow with online business solutions as well.
And probably, I think the best is to tell us what you understand by connected services.
So connected service is an application that runs on the web that delivers a specific function that can be appealing, attractive to an existing customer. And where Sage comes in is to connect that web application with the desktop product as it is today. So it's allowing our customers who are not fully on the web to leverage the benefit of the web without having to completely put their existing application to the bin. So let me give you an example to illustrate the topic. We have in North America a business for payments, and one of our Sage ERP customer has signed up to have integrated payments within Sage ERP X3, which means that all the payments that are coming in can be directly integrated in the accounting. Well, that customer is now generating over $10,000 a year in merchant services with Sage. So it's a benefit to the customer because he's got a more integrated solution. It's a benefit to Sage because our revenue can grow quite a lot.
Very cost effective for them.
Yeah.
And, okay, so what about online business solutions now?
So online business solutions are solutions that sit on the web, but that tend to be far more global solutions, standalone. So a customer will use only online solution, and that's what we call online business solutions. So for the small business segment, we are writing brand new applications, pure SaaS, and we are releasing them progressively, country after country, to the market. So we've launched our Sage 1 offering in the UK a few months ago. Very good success so far. For the mid-market, we have a different approach. In the mid-market, customers value more the existing set of functionality. So we want to allow customers to continue to benefit from this for the long term.
Okay. So what you mean, you're rewriting web applications for small businesses, not for the mid-market. So what do you plan to do instead?
Well, for the mid-market, we will progressively launch cloud-enabled versions of our existing mid-market solutions. So we will allow customers to benefit from, subscription services, the advantage not to have to manage the hardware platform, but they will retain the advantage to control when they do an upgrade. On a pure SaaS solution, you can't control it. It's when it's done. And they will also have the benefit of doing more customization and more system integration. We believe that that approach, incremental approach, in the mid-market is more relevant than pure SaaS.
Okay, so let's get back to Sage ERP X3. I understand that one of your priorities today is to establish a global presence, but Sage has traditionally been known as a very local business. So why are you structured globally for Sage ERP X3?
That is true. Sage has always been known as, bringing local solutions to local small businesses. Here we're dealing with customers whose needs are very different. A large portion of these upper mid-market customers are companies that deal internationally. So the notion to be able to give them the exact same application country after country is quite relevant and important for them. A second reason is that the R&D investment, that's more a reason for Sage, but the R&D investment for an upper mid-market solution is far more significant than for a small business solution. So the potential to share that investment globally is a very important aspect for us. In addition, Sage ERP X3 is a very strong platform, so we've decided, and we announced this 15 months ago, to make Sage ERP X3 our global offering, and it's becoming more and more a reality today.
And Guy, in terms of the wider economy, what is your view of demand, and is confidence returning?
Well, clearly it is returning. We see this in our numbers. We have returned to organic growth. A year ago we were contracting. This varies quite a bit country to country.
Right, but things are getting better.
It is getting better. We have the Sage Business Index, which is work we do because we know our customers really well, and we survey them on a regular basis. So they told us that a much larger proportion of them are more optimistic than they were a year ago, and a much smaller proportion are less optimistic than they were a year ago. So we see that that delta is a positive indication for the future.
Very good then. And how does this manifest itself for Sage ERP X3?
As I said, we grew double-digit, 11% for the first half. We're pleased with that. We have a new version coming up, and you're going to hear a lot about this today. We are very excited about the opportunity of Sage ERP X3 for Sage, for our customers, for our reseller. We think it's a long-term investment, one we are very committed to, and I'm delighted to be here to help the evolution of a Sage ERP X3 business going forward.
Very good. Well, Guy, all the best to you and your team, and thank you for sharing Sage's ambition with us today. So, Guy, I think you're joining Ralph Charlton for the Q&A session later on, right?
Indeed.
Yes. Let's move on. We have a little customer experience movie to share with you, so I suggest that we watch this first, and we will be back in a minute with Christophe Letellier and Laurie Schultz.